What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock, what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow based off what the chart is showing and based off what the data is suggesting. I'm going to break down more data from Tesla, what's happening to the overall market, and some big announcements involving Tesla and Elon Musk, as the man, the myth, the legend has something big to tell us about the full self-driving technology and the prices. Now, before I break anything down about Tesla, the news, the market, and my price prediction for tomorrow, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is you could always sell these 12 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some Tesla shares for free. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 2 weeks. Please check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So Tesla is down about 2.05%. At least it was down that much for the day when the market was open. A little bit red in the after hours, but I am seeing some signs of a bullish reversal from here. I'm not saying it's going to go to all-time highs from here, but I do see a bit of a bounce coming based off the setup right here. So you could see Tesla was just dropping and dropping and dropping throughout most of last week, and we actually got a nice gap down going into Friday. Now, what ended up happening was Tesla stayed in this range I was talking about, which is between 900 and 880. The 880 range was basically where the key support range was, and we actually bounced off 877. So we did come a little bit below it just temporarily, but we spent most of the day kind of pushing to the upside from there. Now, what this essentially looks like is an abandoned baby setup, right? This is what it essentially looks like. We're coming down pretty hard. We gap all the way down, and we actually get a bit of a bounce and a gap fill from there. So I am anticipating that for tomorrow. And I do want to talk about something else that's going to affect Tesla as well. So as you know, I mentioned this on this channel that the whole market is moving almost in unison or very similarly. So what we're essentially seeing is Tesla moving with SPY very similarly. You could see how the trend is so similar. And what I'm essentially seeing is you could see there's a bit of a drop starting from right here. So I do anticipate some downside to come from both Tesla and SPY in the future. And I do think this will drag Tesla down a little bit later, maybe as we end this week, maybe going into next week as well. Now, I'm not saying it's going to start tomorrow. Tomorrow it could actually still be a green day for Tesla. But one of the things I noticed is the fact that a lot of institutions, they're starting to kind of get ready for a bit of a drop. And it could happen as soon as next week, maybe towards the end of the week, maybe by like Friday. And they're anticipating this because they're loading up on those puts. They're selling covered calls. They're buying a lot of puts. So they are anticipating some downside for the markets. It is shifting, and that is what I think will end up affecting Tesla for the later weeks. But as of right now, I do see a bit of a bounce temporarily, and I do think Tesla's going to fill this gap to the upside. If I zoom into the chart a little bit more, you could see how the day was essentially set up. We gap all the way down. We came tumbling down. We were trying to hold like 880 throughout the day. We actually came a little bit below it, got a nice bounce, kind of pushed from there. So I am seeing this thing come all the way back up to this gap fill area at around that 908, 907 range. I can really see that happen. And after that, I do think we could push a little bit more, but it's going to be very tricky from there because I have to note something very important. If you look at SPY, let me pull up my SPY chart real quick. You'll notice that the SPY is in a very similar setup, but it's not looking as strong right now because we did end up coming a little bit lower. And I still think it's possible for SPY to push up just almost out of nowhere, get that volume, push up and fill this gap up here temporarily, then come down a little bit later. But I don't think SPY will have to like move that much in order to affect Tesla, at least as of right now, because I think that Tesla is going to be a little bit independent relative to SPY temporarily. And that's because of the fact that we have this August 25th date for the 3-for-1 stock split. So I do think we're going to get lots of excitement coming in from lots of investors. And as we approach this date, I think Tesla could make some pretty decent moves. But after that, there's no telling how this is really going to move. I still will anticipate some downside after that, in my opinion, because it's very similar to what happened to Amazon, even when the market was like kind of bullish, at least from the start of its split, and then like right after the market turned very bearish, and then Amazon came tumbling down. And I still think Tesla could actually do something kind of similar. And But before we actually get the split, I think we are going to push up just temporarily until the time comes. Then we might see a bit of a drop in the share price. But until then, I'm anticipating a gap fill first, maybe a bit of a push to the upside, and a lot of trading between 900 and 925 going into tomorrow. So just to draw this out, let me show you how this may end up looking like. If I were to draw the chart like this, temporarily, I see Tesla making a pretty nice move to the upside for tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be like that fantastic because the whole market is still kind of choppy. But into open, what I think is going to happen is we're going to have a pretty decent open. Tesla's going to be testing 900. We actually have a lot of EMAs over there. I'm going to show you that later. So 900 is going to be some resistance, which I think Tesla could actually break through. And we're going to push up to that 910 range. Now, the question is, could we break past 910? I mean, it is very possible for us to kind of come above that, maybe go as high as 920. I would say that may be the top for the day. And then we slowly start to come down from there. And we're going to try to hold 900 as the day goes on. And I predict Tesla will hold it and end up actually closing around that 910 range once again. So I am a little bit more bullish than bearish just for tomorrow. And I think as we approach the split, we should actually hold up pretty well, show some signs of improvement. But later on, as I mentioned before and earlier, as we approach September, I do think the market's going to take a bit of a hit. We are starting to see lots of sentiments shifting in this market. The fear and greed index used to be very greedy, and the market is now pretty neutral. So it is actually shifting more on the fearful side. And I do think pretty soon it's going to come to the fearful side. We're going to see some panic selling and other things like that. So be ready for that. But until then, I think Tesla's going to hold up just temporarily. Be ready for tomorrow and all the big things that are coming. We also have a big announcement from Elon Musk that came out that could actually affect lots of buying for Tesla in the future as well. Elon Musk announced this right over here. He talked about how after wide release of the full self-driving beta 10.69.2, the price of the full self-driving will actually rise to $15,000 in North America on September 5th. Now, the current price will be honored for orders made before September 5th, but delivered later. So he's actually letting people know this. And this is going to be very important because it will affect demand for it and how a lot of investors and many people kind of react to that. Now, so that would be like a 25% increase in the software pricing from there. But people do pay every single month. And I don't think it's going to affect their demand that badly. I just still think there's going to be high demand for it. People are very interested in this technology. So I don't see this as a bad thing, but it is something that we should consider when it comes to their next moves and how the company improves from there. Now, as far as other technicals go for Tesla's share price, let me actually hide out all drawings, just look at other big factors to consider. We obviously have this gap right here. I do see Tesla filling the gap for tomorrow. I do see it actually getting rejected off like maybe 920, closing maybe around 910, around that range. But as far as other technical indicators go, are we showing some signs of reversal? And it depends on the time frames you use. If you use like much smaller time frames, you could see right here from the RSI, we came down pretty hard and we actually showed some signs of a bit of a bounce off 877. We got a MACD flip on a very short time frame, but the bigger trend right now, if you look at like the 2 hour time frame, it still is looking kind of bearish from here, all right? So Tesla might make some temporary bullish moves, maybe hold up for just a couple of days until we have the big split. Maybe it pushes up a little bit thanks to the split, because you could argue that this thing was forming kind of like a nice cup and handle. I can actually show you that a little bit later. But after that, it does look like it could start to come down a little bit later based off this trend and what the market is doing. So I want everyone to be prepared for that. And the last thing I want us to talk about is just what the setup is showing. So on the daily, what you'll notice is Tesla is still above the 200 EMA, so it's doing okay. But if it comes below that, that's where things could really shift, and that would be where Tesla comes at like $830 a share. If we do drop below that, that's where things will become very, very bearish from there. And right now, I want to see this thing hold 880 if we do end up coming to the downside. As of right now, we're doing okay. We're starting to show this 13 EMA starting to curl a bit. If it comes down, we could get another crossover leading to more bearish price action. It's not showing just yet. The volume is coming down just a little bit, but I do think we'll get a bit of an improvement going into Monday. But other than that, it's looking all right so far. I'm hoping for that reversal. People are arguing that this looks like a cup and handle. It's very, very much in the realm of possibility. You could also argue it's like another macro one right over here. It's very possible. We'll have to wait and see on that. I know cup and handles don't always form on Tesla as well as they may look, so be prepared for that. The last thing I want to talk about is this right here. If we look at the 2 hour time frame, for support and resistance levels, all right, if Tesla pushes to the upside, $900 is going to be our resistance. If we break past $900, then I would be looking at like 910, around this 910 range, which we could actually break. It's not as strong resistance. The stronger resistance is going to be between that 920 to 930 range, and the really strong resistance is at 940. Now, I don't see Tesla going as high as 940 in one day. If that does happen, just be prepared for those levels. But the bigger level to watch is, can this thing actually hold above 900 from here? That's going to be a very important zone. If this thing comes tumbling down, 880 is going to be support. If we can't hold 880, this thing is probably going to come down to that 860 range. And if that doesn't hold us, then look out for 840. Now, specifically, it's going to be 858, which is where I drew out support. That doesn't hold, and 840 is going to be another very important level. If we fall below 840, it's very likely we're going to end up testing the 200 EMA. If we can't hold that, guys, if this week or next week we fall below that, things could actually turn really bearish from there, and this thing could actually tumble down if we can't hold the 200 EMA, because that's going to make the trend look very, very bearish from there. But other than that, this is essentially what I have for this video. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I am still pretty optimistic for Monday. I do think Tesla's going to fill the gap, so we will see some green days most likely for next week, but be prepared for anything considering what's happening in the markets and also the big news Elon Musk talked about. With that said and done, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay strong, remain calm, cool, and collected, and do what you have to do. None of this is financial advice, and I will most definitely see you guys in the next video. Tesla to the moon, because the long-term future is still incredibly bright, and peace out.